The Tecno Phantom X2 is pretty much a Phantom X2 Pro with slightly different camera specifications. Specifically, this does not have that pop-out telephoto camera, but it is pretty much the same Dimensity 9000 power device, arguably one of the best value for money devices in the market right now when it comes to raw performance. You might even argue it's better value than the Phantom X2 Pro since it costs significantly less, but is it? So, Tecno announced the Phantom X2 series in December and it's now officially launching in Nigeria. That is the Phantom X2 and X2 Pro. For this video, we are looking at the Phantom X2, which is the more affordable option. I have links in the description to a review of the Phantom X2 Pro if you want to check that out, and probably a video that compares both. The last time we saw a Phantom device was in 2021. That was the Phantom X. Safe to say, regardless of which of the new Phantom series you get, you are getting a major upgrade. First off, you should note that the X2, while it looks exactly like the X2 Pro, does not get that retractable telephoto camera. It gets a 2 megapixel depth camera instead. And as added advantage, its main camera is 64 megapixels with OIS. The X2 Pro does not get OIS. The X2 is priced around 373,000 naira, and that is significantly less than the X2 Pro, which costs about 100k more. That's somewhere around $500. I'd say it's a steal for a device with basically flagship specifications. Hard to actually find any devices at this price point with better value in build quality and specifications. Feel free to correct me. But let's not get carried away. Specs on paper does not automatically translate to good user experience. So let's see just how much of good value is the Phantom X2. For starters, you get it in premium packaging with all the accessories you need. That includes a 45 watts charger, USB-C earphones, and a really good looking case that complements the already interesting design. The case has a leather feel and is comfortable. I doubt I'll actually want to use the device without it. Now, aside being aesthetically pleasing, the case also has a part where you can pull out and use as a kickstand. Thoughtfully designed. It, however, doesn't really offer full protection as it leaves the sides of the device exposed, so you might want to be careful dropping this even with the case on. Except, of course, you wish to test the durability of the Gorilla Glass Victus on the display. Now, this is the most premium built Tecno smartphone yet. The back is made of plastic and the frame is aluminum. This is the moonlight silver color. There is also a black one. Only the X2 Pro gets the Mars orange color. It is a 6.8 inches phone, but its curved design makes it comfortable to hold, especially with that case. The device has that premium flagship feel, and I'll say Tecno got it right with the build quality. However, an IP rating would have been a great addition here. The bottom and top frame is actually flat, so it can stand without support if you'd like to flex that. The Phantom X2 does not get a headphone jack, but thoughtful of Tecno to add a pair of USB-C earphones. The display has a pre-installed hydrogel screen protector, so you don't have to go looking for one. We get an aggressively curved 6.8 inches display on the Phantom X2, just like with the Pro. It is Full HD AMOLED and gets 120Hz refresh rate. You can have it as 120Hz or reduce to 60Hz if you want better battery life. There is also the option to have it switch automatically. On the display quality, we have a vibrant looking AMOLED display which gets good brightness level outdoors, great for consuming content, and also looks premium thanks to those curved edges. Speaking of media, the Phantom X2 lacks stereo speakers, so we'll get a bottom-firing mono speaker, which sounds just okay but really could be better, especially for a premium phone. The Phantom line is Tecno's flagship, and when I initially saw the specs, I thought this would be priced anywhere above 500k minimum. Great to see Tecno being reasonable with the pricing. Or what do you guys think about the pricing of the Phantom X2 and X2 Pro? Now, one area where the X2 differs from the X2 Pro is RAM size. This comes with 8GB base RAM, the Pro gets 12. Internal storage is 256GB and is not expandable, so no SD card slots. It accepts dual nano SIM cards. The software here is Tecno's iOS 12 and Android 12. And we finally have good news. Tecno has promised 2 major OS upgrades and an extra year of security updates for the Phantom X2 series. This is a much welcome improvement and something we've been asking or demanding from Tecno. It's great to see they're actually committing to that. However, only time will tell how swift these updates will come. I'll definitely update on my social media channels if it comes or when it comes. iOS has not changed much from what we've already seen. It's feature-packed and customizable to a great extent, but there's still the iOS problem of bloatware apps sending notifications even when you've never opened them. The major culprits being Palm Store and Phoenix browser. The good thing though is that you get the option if you want to keep receiving these notifications or silence them. I'd rather not have them coming at all, especially not for a premium phone. The Phantom X2 uses an optical fingerprint scanner, which I find to be accurate and quite fast, barely any delay when using it to unlock the device. Now on performance, this is right up there with the most powerful phones at the moment. The Dimensity 9000 is a 4nm processor and is in the same performance level as the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. Feel free to correct me. The phone is very snappy and smooth thanks to the high refresh rate. You will likely have no complaints using this for any demanding task, including high graphics gaming. It can play titles like Call of Duty Mobile and Apex Legends at close to max graphics and max frame rates. With Apex Legends, it maintained consistent 60 FPS during gameplay, and I only ever needed to worry about my internet reliability. It can also go up to max frame rates with Call of Duty Mobile. Now you can pretty much expect the same gaming performance from the X2 as you have on the X2 Pro. It also gets hot after gaming for a while, but not uncomfortably and definitely not to the point of affecting the gaming performance. Pretty solid if you ask me. The battery on the Phantom X2 is impressive in my experience and is the most you can actually get on a flagship device at this price point. Most flagship device actually. It is 5160 mAh in capacity and it does guarantee you at least a day of use. Never experienced any abnormal battery drain. Its 45 watts charger takes just over an hour to power this from 0 to 100. I thought it would be faster, but I think it's just fast enough. Now the cameras. The Tecno Phantom X2 gets a slightly different camera configuration from the Pro. We have a 64 megapixel main camera with OIS, a 13 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. It gets a 32 megapixel selfie camera. The rear cameras take good looking photos and it's noticeably vibrant. Even while indoors with the right lighting, you can get some amazing photos, especially when shooting objects up close. With human subjects, the photos also looks great with enough detail. While this has no telephoto camera, the portraits look sharp and subject separation is near perfect. Ultra-wide shots look great and the edges don't have that abnormal effect that makes it obvious that it's an ultra-wide shot. Night shots also do not disappoint, although sometimes you might find the darker parts of the image with some noise. The selfie camera also produces great results. However, I think it could do with a little contrast and maybe some improvement with the skin tones. I should mention though that this is a review unit and there might be some improvements with the final retail version. Software should also be improved and maybe image processing, but this is close enough. For video, the Phantom X2 can shoot up to 4K 60 FPS from its rear camera. From its selfie camera, it can only do 1080p 60. It has OIS, which is evident when taking photos, but not so much with videos. A software update should improve this. You can use ultra steady mode, which surprisingly works with 4K 30 FPS but with a noticeable cropping. However, it looks quite stable. Okay, hello YouTube. I'm currently shooting from the selfie camera of the Tecno Phantom X2. The 32 megapixel selfie camera. I'm currently shooting at 1080p 30 FPS, can do 1080p 60. And from the rear cameras, it can go as high as 4K 60. So, what do you think about the mic quality? I'm by the roadside, so it's a bit noisy. But then, how is the mic picking my voice? Is it good enough? Is the selfie camera also good enough for video? The Phantom X2 is an impressive phone and I can easily recommend it. Probably even over the more expensive X2 Pro, especially if you are not particular about that pop-out camera. Performance is solid and I'm looking forward to the promised OS upgrades. The cons for me is pretty much the same as the X2 Pro, and that would be the lack of stereo speakers and no IP rating. The haptic feedback is also not great. I literally had to turn it off. This aside, the Phantom X2 is a solid device from Tecno and I like where they are headed with the Phantom series. You can check here for my review of the Phantom X2 Pro and here for the comparison between both, which I'll be uploading soon. Peace.